Patrick Starr is under fire for cultural appropriation. Jeffree Star defends a $50 highlighter. Wait, Patrick Starr? Jeffree Star? They must be father and son. And James Charles says he's not mentally recovered from the Tati Westbrook drama. All this plus I bought a muffin before filming and I haven't had time to eat it yet, and God, I want to. God, it looks nice. On this week's edition of YouTuber News, hosted by me, Benedict Townsend, and brought to you by PopBuzz, the only website that does its hair toss, checks its nails, and asks you how you're doing. And you reply, yeah, all right. Gonna be a good show. Our first story, Patrick Starr is being accused of cultural appropriation for wearing a quote-unquote turban that looks suspiciously similar to a West African gele, or head tie, and I'm so sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. The YouTuber shared some photos of himself on social media on the 24th of November, and in the picture you can see him wearing a royal blue dress, and he's got a lovely head wrap with fabric that matches, and he captioned it, "I'm telling my kids this was Cinderella," playing along with the fun meme that's going on at the moment where you put an incorrect image with a caption. You know, for example, putting a picture of Brendan Urie and saying, "Gonna tell my kids this is 21 Pilots." I think that humor is not very funny, and that's something I would never do on this show. And then maybe do a little montage of me doing that. But soon after Patrick, who is Filipino-American, shared the photo, a lot of people started to notice that the head tie looked a lot like a gele. In Nigeria, these are worn to special events like weddings, and they usually match the outfit that they go with. And so naturally, he did get a bit of backlash. Look at these tweets. Look how angry these tweets are. Wait, what is that? Can you smell that? Something in the air. It smells like a cancelling on the horizon. Where's my cancelling button? Thank you very much. Disembodied hand. Wearing an African traditional dress when you're Filipino-American? Cancelled, sis. Skr, and I can't emphasize this enough. Skr. Are you getting fed? When it comes to muffins, I'm like a 21 Pilots fan because I only like the top. I don't know if that's something. Our second story. Now, Rat, careful with your finger on the button there. Don't you go cancelling me. That's my job. Now, our second story is about Jeffree Star selling a very expensive highlighter, but before that, KSI, he's a YouTuber. He famously punched Logan Paul in the face, but it's fine, it was allowed, it was sports. Well, KSI recently came along to YouTuber News HQ, and I interviewed him for the YouTuber News podcast. So if you haven't already subscribed to the podcast, make sure you go and do that after you finish this episode. I said, don't leave yet. So make sure to check that out on Tuesday on the YouTuber News podcast, or YouTuber News the podcast. I don't know what the name is. Our second story, Jeffree Star has come under fire. I feel like all people do on this show is come under fire. It's like a goddamn firing squad, this show. He's come under fire because he's selling a makeup, shocking, that is $50. $50 for some vegan highlighters. Now, this highlighter is called Extreme Frost. As you'll probably know if you're a fan, he previously had Skin Frost, then Liquid Frost, and then Supreme Frost, and now we're at Extreme Frost. And this new one, he says, is, quote, for the crazy highlight addicts. And it's got 3 colors. One of them is called Sour Ice. It's quite nice. Soury ice, that's fun. One of them is called Gag Me, right? Kind of moving away from the ice theme, but that's fun. And one of them is called Lick My Glit. So, must be a glitter reference there. So, no, I don't know what that could. I guess you lick ice cream, and that's ice. So that's nice. I'm sick of people coming in here on my show and the Rats, and all the comments are, "Oh, the lady laughing in the background. Oh, she's the real star of the show." No, she's not. Who's got 2 thumbs and is the star of the show? I am. According to Jeffree, I'm gone. Jeffree says, "I created the world's most blinding diamond highlighter. It's pure pigment, no filler. It creates a wet glass effect on the skin, no face tune needed." As I said, they are vegan and they cost $50 each. It's not a thing where you get all 3, you know, Sour Ice and Lick My Glit. You know, if you want to... I somehow had missed this detail while I was looking at the story ahead of time. Some fans immediately jumped to Jeffree's defense and tried to justify the reasoning behind the price. One fan said, quote, "It's pure pigment, guys. Stop complaining about the price. OMFG." But people immediately pointed out that he himself had criticized Jaclyn Hill's highlighters for being too expensive, and they were priced about the same. He said, quote, "I made the Extreme Frost formula for bougie makeup lovers who love luxury cosmetics and crazy shit. The formula is really expensive to make, so I had to price it accordingly. Of course, Jeffree Star Cosmetics currently offers 3 other highlighter formulas. This new product is next level, blinding, and not for the faint of heart. If the price point is not for you, no worries. Grab a hashtag Skin Frost and still shine. So why exactly is it so expensive to make? Well, on his Instagram story, Jeffree said, quote, "This gorgeous formula is very pricey to make. It comes in a vegan leather box, all white, it's pure pigment, no filler, no crazy ingredients." Now, I don't know anything about makeup, but it seems that this pure pigment thing makes it expensive. Now, if I were you, talking about makeup with a pure pig, probably more of a Shane Dawson thing. No? Our third story, James Charles says he's, quote, "not mentally recovered from the Tati Westbrook drama." James sat down for an interview with Paper magazine and talked about all kinds of things, including the grand scandal between him and Tati Westbrook, which engulfed the YouTube community earlier this year, although it feels like a million years ago because the world is so crazy now. Sorry. James says that his mental wellness is still affected by the drama 6 months on. He said, quote, "I'm not mentally in a place where I want to be. What's even harder to swallow is that it's been 6 months since all the drama happened. I thought by this time I'd be completely good, back to normal if you will. And that's not the case." Now, you'll remember that Tati sort of surprised everyone in the YouTube community when she posted a 45-minute expose about James Charles called Bye Sister and accused him of all kinds of things, including lying and manipulating people's sexualities. That's a quote from Tati Westbrook, not me, please don't sue me. James then clapped back with his own side of the story, really defended himself, but he still lost millions of subscribers in just a few days. Reflecting on that, he said, quote, "We're quickly getting to a point where cyberbullying, hating, and cancel culture is getting stronger. I can say firsthand, they got to me." He also specifically hit back at Tati's claims that he was manipulating people's sexuality, saying that he felt that that statement implied that gay men were, quote, predatory. He said, quote, "The reality is that the hookup that was being discussed was completely consensual." He went on to say, "It was with a boy who told me that he was bisexual and later on told the world he was bisexual. Therefore, there was nothing wrong with that." You can read more of that in the interview over on Paper magazine. It's sad to hear that James is still affected, but hopefully in time he can sort of heal and get over that drama and get back to doing what he does best, putting on makeup, concealers, highlighters like Frost and I don't know, and Extreme Frost and I suppose that's all the ones, and Lick My Glit and all of those. Precious muffin, I will destroy you. Now it's time for YouTuber. Hey, get off there. Rat, you know you have the Black Death. Let's brush some of that Black Death off. There we go. Cheeky. Now it's time for YouTuber Watch, the part of the show where I zero in on one YouTuber, Dan Howell, and tell you what they got up to this week. Dan Howell. Now last week I gave you a poll. No, not a large metal stick. I mean a choice of options. So anyway, last week I gave you a choice of 2 options, and speaking of polls, one of the options was that Dan goes to the North Pole, arguably the funnier option. And then the other one was that Dan adopts a llama, which is the one you all voted for, so I guess he's adopting a llama this week. Great job, team. But I'll give you another vote at the end of this boring llama story, and then you can vote for next week's story, and maybe try thinking about it this time. It's time for Dan Howell Watch. Welcome to Dan Howell Watch. I'm struggling to think of funny names for this anymore. What's Dan been up to this week? Well, he woke up and he said, "Well, good morning, world." And the sun, the Teletubby baby sun, beamed down on him and said, "Bah!" And he was like, "Hello, son. Boy, I'd sure like to do something today that would have been funny online in like 2007. What did people find funny in 2007? Epic bacon for the win. Oh, awesome sauce. I know what I'll do. I'll adopt an adorable little llama, and then I'll take a picture of the llama going, and then I'll put some text at the top that says, 'I can has llama rama.' And that'll be great." So Dan hopped on his favourite mode of transport, a big penny farthing with a big silly wheel on the front of it. And he wheeled up to the man who he seemed to have a sword on his belt. We didn't question that. And he said, llama man. I can never remember how this rhyme goes.
Do it every week.
I do it every week. Llama man, have you any llamas? Yes, sir, for I am a farmer. Why, your face is twinkling in the sun. Have you got some kind of makeup on? Aye, it's Lick My Glit. The finest shade Jeffree Starr has ever released. Wow, that's good. You must have a bit of cash on you. That's $50 a pop. The llama business is booming. It's 2008. People think that llamas are a joke in them for themselves. If you just say llama, people think that's a joke. It's epic for the win. XD, said Dan. I hope MCR never break up. Anyway, show me your llamas. I can't see them very well because my fringe is covering my eye. Right, this llama's nice, isn't he? Yeah, I'll take that one. And Dan hopped on his back. Home, llama, and no delay. And the llama just kind of stood there. You can't ride them. That's not what they do. Can you deliver it? Yeah, we have a delivery. They had a whole conversation about delivery. It wasn't that interesting. And Dan went home with his llama, and Phil looked at him and said, "You, sir, have won the internet. Have all my likes. That's epic." And Dan said, "Rawr." This has been Dan Howell Watch. Oh boy, what a great episode of Dan Howell Watch. Now it's time for you to choose what happens to Dan Howell next week, and choose very carefully. Either Dan Howell goes to the North Pole, or Dan Howell goes to a yarn factory. Two options there. I would argue one is clearly better, but up to you. And, you know, as we've shown time and time again, democracy simply doesn't work. So if you're on Snapchat, you can swipe up to vote. If you're on YouTube, you can click this little I for I better get voting, and you can vote. I'm Benedict Townsend. This has been YouTuber News, which airs every week on the YouTuber News YouTube channel, and also on Snapchat Discover, and also on the PopBuzz Instagram account, all kinds of places. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the show on YouTube or on Snapchat, or if you're watching this on PopBuzz, why don't you give PopBuzz a cheeky follow? If you're a fan of good content that isn't bad, we also have lots of other shows on Snapchat. We have the PopBuzz Guide, which I'm on sometimes. We also have PopBuzz Beauty with my good friend Kat Warner, doing all kinds of wild beauty with all kinds of makeup products. And of course, we have PopBuzz Meets, where we interview fun celebrities and ask them, hey, what's it like to be in the crazy world of Hollywood? I'll be back next week with a brand new episode for you, and I'll also be back on Tuesday with that brand new episode of the YouTuber News podcast, featuring my interview with KSI, and an installment of Rat, the story of a rat. I've been slowly telling the life story of the rat over on the podcast, and we got the numbers section on the podcast. It's gonna be a very good episode of the podcast. But if I see you on Tuesday, or on a Friday, or never again, I want to leave you with these words. These words. Actually, you know what? I'm fine. Have a good week.